Hello, 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 everyone. Dr. Rowena Winkler here, and we're at Revelations with Rowena. I was just telling Elizabeth before we hopped on live that maybe someday I'll have a little intro situation where the song is all professionally edited or whatnot. But in the meantime, I'll just do my cute little intro. I am so excited for our guest today. Elizabeth Kipp is going to talk about her journey with Ancestral Clearing. I'm telling you, folks, I was just saying before we went live, when she reached out and told me what she did, I was like, yes. There was no question. I didn't even have to think about it. I was like, this person needs to be on the show because I have so many questions already. But before we get into it, Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here. Why don't you share with folks who you are, where you come from, your story, and what brought you to this practice, this process of ancestral clearing?
Well, thank you so much, Maria. It's my honor to be here. I'm a chronic pain management specialist, really more stress management specialist, trauma training coach,
Wow.
ancestral clearing practitioner, and yoga and meditation teacher. Now, that sounds like a lot of hats, right? Also, author of The Way Through Chronic Pain, Tools to Reclaim Your Healing Power. It sounds like a lot of hats. All those things fall under stress management.
Yeah.
So I bring all those other modalities to bear. The ancestral clearing part. So I'll say about chronic pain. First, I just define chronic pain. Chronic pain is any pain that's felt, physical, emotional, spiritual, financial, any pain that's felt. 15 days out of 30 for 3 months or more is chronic. The brain can't tell the difference between a broken bone and a broken heart. It all sends the same signal. It hurts up to the brain. And so people think, oh, chronic pain is physical. It's not. It's all those things. So grief experience, maybe domestic abuse, other kinds of trauma, they all fall under that heading if they've been going on 15 days out of 30 for 3 months or more. Why is that important? Before COVID, and it's got, of course, clearly gotten worse.
Yeah.
The National Institutes of Health estimated 25% of North America is in chronic pain across all socioeconomic measures, including children. The World Health Organization estimates pre-COVID that 1/5 of the world is in chronic pain. So it's this like silent epidemic. And also, when we move from acute pain, say after, like when I broke my arm and healed, into chronic pain, the brain is changed by that, and there's a lot of chaos that starts to occur in the brain. We perceive the pain differently, and we get a much more negative mind. So we like my self-esteem. I was chronic pain for decades, and my self-esteem got really. It was a real challenge. I had a lot of negativity. And I'm not the only one. It's a common thing. So that's why the book. I was in chronic pain for 40 years.
Wow.
31 of that from surgery. I was on an opiate and a benzodiazepine, any anxiety medicine. That was the doctor's solution at the time. They were like, you will be in chronic pain for the rest of your life. You will be in a wheelchair when you're 40. This is all we have for you. And that was the model they were working under. Now, I have a science background, so I kind of understood that there was a limitation there. Remember, we live in the universe, the all it is. We live in the science can only comment and work with what it can measure, observe, and describe.
Right.
So our healing happens everywhere, not just in science. So I need to look outside of the paradigm. And the thing was, is they assumed, because of their training, they assumed I wouldn't heal they didn't ask the question, why isn't Elizabeth healing? They
Mm.
assumed I wouldn't. And that was the
Mm.
flaw, right? So finally, I met Dr. Peter Prescott. He's since passed on, but he wrote a book, Conquer Chronic Pain, an Innovative Mind-Body Approach.
Mm.
He had a chronic pain management program, which I went into, and in it, I had my first experience of ancestral clearing. And again, I'm in the room, I'm detoxing off all that pain medicine because Dr. Peter knew how to get me off all the pain medicine. So I'm
Wow.
detoxing off of all that. And in walks John Newton, who this ancestral clearing is a trademark registered process of John Newton of Health Beyond Belief.
Mm-hmm.
He hands us this piece of paper. And here I have my science hat on. What's happening in this room, you know?
Yeah.
And it's all in English. And it was basically a prayer. Now I knew about Sanskrit words because I'd done enough, been in yoga, and I'd done enough
Right.
Sanskrit words. Sanskrit is different than English because
Mm-hmm.
in Sanskrit, the sound of the word is the essence of the thing it's talking about.
Mm.
So the word in Sanskrit for dog would mean dogness. So
Mm.
it's a very interesting language, and there's a lot of power in that. I hadn't seen that in English. Anyway, so this is in English. He says, "What's everybody's pain level?" I'm like, "Oh, everybody's just 20 people in the room." He said, "What's everybody's pain level? 0 to 10," and mine was at an 8, but
Mhm.
the numbers were 8 to 20. Right? The scale was everybody's like 8 to 20 out of 10, right?
Oh my
And
goodness.
so there were 20 people like me in the room. And anyway, so he said, "I want you to read this silently." We didn't even
Mhm.
read it out loud. We just read
Mhm.
silent to ourselves. I
Mhm.
get halfway through it and I felt the room shift. Now,
Wow.
I said I was detoxing off of medicine. So I thought, oh, Elizabeth, that's just you detoxing. You just imagined that. That didn't happen, right?
Mm.
Then I felt my pain start to subside.
Mm.
I knew something was up.
Mm.
Finished reading the prayer. My pain is down to a 2. And John says, "What's everybody's pain level?" The pain level in the room was from an 8 to a 0,
Wow.
an 8 to a 20, right? And
Oh my
I was
goodness.
just like, what just happened in this room?
Yeah.
You know,
What just happened?
I know something happened. You know, is it repeatable? You know, uh, can you measure it? And does he teach it? And the answer to all that was in my science hat. And I was like, we got to do research on this,
Yeah, what just yeah.
and
Mhm.
and the answer to all this was yes. And I went and took the first ancestral clearing practitioner training that I could find. That he's the only one that teaches it, and he taught one about 6 months after I was finished that program, and I've been doing ancestral clearing somewhere on the planet pretty much every day since then.
Wow, what a wonderful story and illustration of how the chronic pain was, I first of all, let's go back to your definition, right? That because I think typically when folks think of chronic pain, they think just the physical, but I love how you said the brain doesn't know the difference between a broken bone and a broken heart, that it's more holistic in that way. And then your own story of being in chronic pain for so long, and then this lived experience and the science piece of what just happened. I need to learn more, this curiosity. And now you're doing it, you experience it and now you're doing it to help other people. Walk us through this process. I mean, especially I don't know much about it. And it sounds like in this instance you read something, but is there more like I'm curious to know, like, can you
Oh,
walk us through what this looks like?
it's very. I will walk you through. It's kind of like, how do you explain the chocolate experience to somebody who hasn't eaten chocolate? Right? It's
I
like
love
that.
that. Yeah, yeah.
So I'll take everybody through it, but I want to give you a little underpinning of what we're doing here.
Sure, yeah.
Um, Quantum physics. So I went there, right? Quantum physics tells us that the present moment is filled with information.
Mhm.
It's also, we can access in the present moment, we can access past, present, and future.
Mm-hmm.
So ancestral clearing works in the present moment. We leverage that moment so that we can access past, present, and future.
Wow.
So that's kind of number one.
Mm-hmm.
And number two is there's information in the field. There's information.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of information. We come in with information, resilience, hair color, eye color, skin color. Some of that stuff is fixed, and some of it is malleable. And the stuff that's malleable is information. It's epigenetic, so it's affected by the environment. Depending on what happens in the environment, the expression of the it's not really the DNA, it's kind of the switches on the DNA
Mm-hmm.
changes depending on the environment. Ancestral clearing works on that level. So we work pretty much with any limitation. I've been doing this practice for 8 years ish, and I'm not saying I won't ever find it, but nobody's come to me with something that this practice couldn't address. I think it's phenomenal. Like, that's pretty amazing for a modality that it's that general.
Yeah.
It supports every other healing modality out there. It doesn't replace it; it supports.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
And I'll give you kind of an example of how quickly, and then I'll take you through it.
Sure.
I'll give you an example of how. So I work on some of my clients are descendants of people that were in the Holocaust.
Wow.
And they come to me and they can feel the weight of they can feel the weight of their ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
We do this process and they feel a change.
Wow. That's amazing.
So there's that piece, just as an example.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I'd just like to bring in is it's not just humans that have this information from the past. Monarch butterflies, every fifth generation, they migrate. And how does that information pass? Right, it comes in through the genes, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is there's another example. A guy runs a rat lab. He raises rats. That's what he does. And he raised these baby rats, and they're all playing in the common baby rat room. One day, he lays a cat hair right down in the middle, and they all scatter.
Yeah.
And they've never met a cat. So they have the information.
Yeah.
Information comes into the system that's important, or that's been impressed, maybe that didn't get processed or released and healed in the last generation, comes into the next generation. So that's kind of how these things get passed down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's it in a super nutshell.
It was a great nutshell. Thank you for packaging it in that way. Mm-hmm.
And what we do is, as I said, it's in the form of a prayer, in that we're asking source energy, creator energy, God, whatever you want to call that, that thing, that the boss of all bosses, right?
Yeah.
We're asking that to come in on our behalf. So we ask for help. And my experience, and this is a scientist talking, my experience is, when I ask for help from my heart, not just my head, but like my heart, I get help. When I ask, in a form of, now I might not be expecting the answer that I get, but I get an answer.
Yeah, one way or the other, right?
So we're asking that energy to help us clear this stuff that we're carrying. And then what we're doing it in the present moment. And we ask everyone that's listening, that's taking part in this, just to stay very present, relax the breath, stay present in the sensation that they're feeling in the body, and just listen to the words. Just let the words just wash over them. So I'll do a clearing for what I call the ancestral clearing for the Magdalene wounds And it's really a clearing for the things that women carry from the patriarchy. I felt that Mary Magdalene, she's not the only one, but she's just the one that I felt was a really good avatar
Yeah.
for 3 wounds that women carry, and men carry them through their mothers. Women in their bodies, women standing in their power, and women in their intuition. So we'll address those 3, and so if you could stay present and listen, and
Yeah.
I'll go through this.
So, okay, let me just ask a quick question.
Sure,
Does it match? Can I close my eyes? Like, or should
sure.
I? Okay.
Yep.
And then also, just before we start, what divine timing? I feel like I need this right now, and I'm sure other folks need it. So,
Mhm.
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So in this case, we're going to call the source of all that is Divine Mother, since we're calling in that energy, and we'll do it for all of us. Divine Mother, all that you are, thank you for your bountiful blessings on us. We ask humbly for us and our ancestors through all time, timelines, space, dimension, realms, lifetimes, and incarnations, for all shame around the female body, for every time we hid because we were told to cover ourselves, and for all we made it mean about our identity and our worth, for any time we projected shame onto anyone else. Please help us all to forgive one another and forgive ourselves. Please and thank you. For all sexual desires twisted out of divinity, for sexual disorders, rape, incest, or any other sexual abuse, sexually transmitted diseases, sex and any other addiction, including codependency, money, food addictions, and for any time our personal power was reduced or blocked in any way, or we blocked anyone else's personal power. Please help us all to forgive one another and forgive ourselves. Please and thank you. For any time we were accused of being possessed by demons, for any forced exorcisms, persecutions of any kind, for any violence, including abuse, hate crimes, torture, war, genocide, or slavery, and for any associated survivor's guilt, and for any time we took part in any of these things. Please help us all to forgive one another and forgive ourselves for all of it, no matter what happened. Please and thank you. For all issues around intimacy, for social anxiety, any time we were shunned or otherwise shut out or shut down, and for any time our actions made others feel these things. Please help us all to forgive one another and forgive ourselves. Please and thank you. For any time we experienced the laws of nature being digressed, for any animal torture or abuse of any kind, and any time we were responsible for such acts. Please help us all to forgive one another and forgive ourselves. Please and thank you. For any time we were stoned, stigmatized, or scorned in any other way. For any time we hid ourselves away, making ourselves invisible in isolation, shutting out our power just to keep ourselves safe. Please help us all to forgive all those involved and help us forgive ourselves for the highest good. Please and thank you. For any time we felt we weren't part of the family or the tribe, for any lies we were told or lies we told to others, for blindness, hypocrisy, racism, sexism, or any other spiritual, mental, or physical illness that ensued. Please help us all to forgive one another and forgive ourselves, find peace with one another and find peace with ourselves. Please and thank you. Divine Mother, please help us heal these wounds. Help us to stand tall in our power. Help us to reclaim the bliss and ecstasy of life into our own and know for once and for all our own true worth. Please and thank you. Help us live in the compassionate awareness of the divine nature of all beings. Fill us with your love and let us know your love the way you love us. Please and thank you. Please help us open and live from our intuition, from your knowledge that we can never be separate from one another or from you. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Now take a breath in and let it out and just notice how that feels in the body.
Oh my God.
Hmm. 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 Had Have you got a Kleenex by chance? We really prefer that you blow your nose. That's old hurt trying to come out.
I don't have a Kleenex,
Oh, bless
but
you.
I can, I don't know what to do now. I guess I was wow, I wasn't expecting that to happen.
That's okay. It's pretty common, actually.
Yeah, I can imagine. It was just I'll try to blow my nose later. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It just
Just allow yourself to feel that. That's old hurt coming out. We've been carrying this stuff for a long time. Um, it's kind of important that we try and release the we try and blow the nose because that's old hurt coming out. We don't want to suck it back in the body, tell it that doesn't want to, we don't want it to go away.
oh my gosh, I'm about to just use my sleeve. Oh man, I should have brought I'm okay, let's just use my I'm just use my shirt.
That's fine.
Let me mute.
That's okay. It's fine to get out. Yeah. It's important to really release that. The body's trying to release, and so we honor that. Otherwise, we're saying, "Oh no, I don't want to get rid of that old hurt." Right? It's the opposite over the body's so intelligent.
Holy moly. That was so powerful. I was saying that I was saying how I needed something like this. Before we went live, I mentioned that tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of this business, and I feel that very recently, just in the past couple weeks or so, there's been a shift in terms of not playing it small anymore and embodying my authenticity and my voice and sharing my story of my body being violated, of feeling like I was different, and really tapping into my intuition. So holy shit, that that everything you said, like my body was buzzing, my heart was pounding. I felt it all. Woo! Wow.
Beautiful. Well, I'll say it to you because you're in your 1-year anniversary, and I say this to people from time to time because my clients will bring this in about playing small. I'm just going to say it. We don't have time for us to play small anymore. There's too much going down on the planet. Everybody's got to step up. And I say that in the most loving, supportive way. Yeah.
I received that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing that you've come to this spot because you realize it's transformative. We're also in a very transformative time astrologically.
Yeah.
And the Chinese New Year. I was just talking to my acupuncturist about the fire, and there's a lot going on. This is a transformational time. Right?
Isn't it Fire Tiger year?
Yes, it is.
I'm a fire tiger. So
here you go. So we're that's the energy of a very powerful transformation. So I'm not surprised you're feeling this, and it's such an honor for me to bring this kind of work into this whole space.
Well, goodness to gracious, after that, where do we even go from here? Wow, thank you. Thank you. Again, this was exactly what I needed in this moment, and I thank you, and I received you see, everyone's gonna see it later, everyone's gonna hear it when this becomes a podcast. I don't even know where to go from here, Elizabeth. I don't know if you want to speak more to what just happened or how you continue to work. with people. I mean, we've never met before. This is the first time you did this, and I feel it. I feel lighter.
Yes, it's so interesting to me. Because my science mind again, like, what is going on here? And my experience and the way I feel it, and I have an evolutionary biology background, so I'm always looking for what's the mechanism, right? And why is it relative evolutionarily? What's the advantage, right? And what I see or what I feel is that we came in with this stuff, and we have a certain frequency that we came in with, and we can kind of continue in that frequency until something happens, and we can release that, and we don't feel it anymore, and we don't even know we're carrying it until we don't carry it anymore, and we feel lighter because we came in with it.
Right. It's like the rats, right?
Yeah,
That you
that's
mentioned.
that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's fascinating to me, and I've been in this work, like I said, for like over 8 years, and um, not only do I do the work, like I'm a practitioner of the work, but I'm in the work, and I actively do the work on my own
Right.
self and my lineage. So, and it's not like one and done. It's like, depending, some of the stuff is, it just drops off right away. And other stuff is kind of like the onion peeling, is kind of like that.
So actually that's a question that just came through is when you work with your clients, how do you determine, and again, I'm still blown away the fact that you did the Mary Magdalene one. It was like exactly what I needed. How do you know
Oh,
which prayer, which piece to use with clients?
great question. Okay, so we said present moment, rich in information. We stay in the present moment. The information is right here. And, we're calling in creator energy. The client, you and the listening audience, even the replay, you're all in the field. And that my job really is to kind of work the process. And this is not me doing so much as it is the creator. Now, me picking the prayer, that's me getting guidance, picking like kind of, how are we going to thread our way through? What are we going to hit on? That's information that's in the field that the client brings in, and that, creators working on all of that. And it's this beautiful co-creative process and presence. So in my practice, like I have a practice every day. I have a practice where I work on growing my capacity to be in the present moment, more awareness of the present moment. That I feel makes me a better practitioner, because it's not me doing the work. It's really creator. I just have to kind of be here and kind of hold the space, and then just get out of the way and let the creator do the work.
Oh, I love that. That's a beautiful answer. My next question is, are are you able to share any tips on how to increase that capacity, or is that based on the training that you received to be a practitioner?
Actually, he it talks about that, because John Newton teaches this. Health Beyond Belief is his business. You guys can go look him up.
Yeah.
But I also have this, like I said, I'm a yoga teacher, a meditation teacher, and I have this. That's my practice. I have a yoga practice that I do every day. I teach yoga a couple times a week, and it's my meditation practice, where I stay present. I stay present in the moment with a mantra, or just allowing myself to, where's my attention? My attention's on the breath. And there's kind of some techniques there. If you can breathe consciously and keep your attention on a conscious, deep, long, deep breath, that will help calm the mind and quiet the mind, if you have a practice of it. So a lot of the meditation that I do is one where where I focus on the breath, because that will help quiet the mind, and then I can be in stillness. So that would be the main one. It just takes practice.
I
Yeah.
was just going to say, what about the folks, myself included, right? I'm a new well, I guess I'm not as new anymore. My baby's turning 2 next month.
Mhm.
These as mothers or folks that are just trying to run they're running around trying to make things whatever. They're just trying to go about their lives, especially with COVID. There's a lot of stress.
Mhm.
Ha you know, how do we just be and get back to that breath? I mean, what
I'll share that little. There's a little trick you can do. First of all, be conscious of the breath. The breath is kind of everything. The
Yeah.
heart is connected to the breath. The mind follows the breath. So we're influencing how the quality of our breath really indicates the quality of our life, determines the quality of our
Oh, I
life,
love that.
and the nervous system reflects the quality of the breath. So when we're all up and nervous and I got to do this and I got to do that, we've shortened the breath, and the nervous system gets uh, the heartbeat gets erratic and it's not coherent anymore, and then it gets anxious and worried and that kind of stuff, and then the nervous system reflects that, and you're kind of in that fight or flight place.
Right.
As we deepen the breath and bring in a long, slow, deep breathing, which is the easiest one I can explain to you guys. There's all different kinds, but that's the long, slow, deep breathing.
Yeah.
And you keeping your attention on the breath and maybe on the heart here, but just on the breath, just a long, conscious breath, like you can do stopped at a stoplight, standing in line at the grocery store,
Right.
waiting for the laundry to, the dryer to finish, whatever,
Yeah.
while
Yeah.
you're changing the baby's diaper, just
Yeah.
one deep breath. Then the heart comes into coherence, the nervous system starts getting regular again, the mind calms down.
Yeah.
Remember, the mind follows the breath. So when we're start getting, crazy in the head, it's because our breath's gotten ragged. We just come back to a long conscious breath. Now you can do, oh, I'm doing long deep breathing, but you want to find ease in that. You
Hmm.
want to find ease in that long, deep breath so that you've got, and then when you find ease in the breath, Rowena, you're going to find ease in your life, guaranteed. I've done it. I've run the experiment.
Well, I'm definitely gonna take that to heart. I know, I have a morning practice. I also do yoga, and so but I'm gonna focus on that because even just yesterday, I found myself getting as an anxious human, getting anxious and I could feel myself, "Ugh." But yeah, gonna focus on that long breathing. And I love the example, yeah, when I change my daughter's diaper or anything like that, the things I'm doing throughout the day, just remembering to do that and be intentional and present. Oh my goodness, I love that. I love that so much. Tell us more about this book that you wrote. And
Oh,
how does that tie into this at all, or is I'd love to know more about
it
it.
sure does. So this book um, was I wrote this book for chronic pain sufferers and those who care for them,
Mm.
doctors, nurses, family members, and friends. It offers proven techniques to clear pain and live a life free from suffering, from a former chronic pain sufferer, me, who searched the globe for answers and found them. So, the way through chronic pain, tools to reclaim your healing power, is not about medication. And I'm not saying that all pain medication is bad. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
It has its place, but it really doesn't have its place in chronic pain, because it doesn't help heal the changes that chronic pain brings to the brain. So I wrote, it's not so much about my story, it's really more about the nature of chronic pain. My story is kind of sprinkled in there,
Of course, yes.
but it's really about the nature of chronic pain, and what a chronic pain, what the voice of chronic pain sounds like in a patient,
Mm.
in a
Mm.
chronic pain sufferer, because um, the person who's taking care of or a friend of a chronic pain sufferer, probably 99.9% of us who are in chronic pain are going to tell you one of two things. We're going to be super quiet about our situation, or we're going to complain all the time.
Ooh,
We do.
yeah.
Neither one of those voices is the actual authentic voice of the chronic pain person.
Mm.
So went to great lengths to put that voice in this book so that people would actually understand what is going on in the mind, body, and soul of a chronic pain sufferer, and emotional, what's going on emotionally. So that addresses that. So it's kind of like Dr. Peter Prescott, who took me through his pain management program. He wrote a book called Conquer Chronic Pain, an innovative mind body approach, which is this like researchery. He breaks it down his way and has exercises in the end of the book what helped him write. And I've done all those exercises and they're really helpful. And then I put my own in. So this is kind of like a companion book to his book. It's like the user's manual kind of thing. And they make a nice set.
Okay, I'm sorry, Elizabeth. I still have things coming out my nose, so don't mind me. I'm just trying to.
It's a big release. We get that a lot.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Maybe by tomorrow it'll be done. But I love that. I love the companion piece, and that there's so it sounds like his is more kind of academic, or in a sense.
Yeah, he was an academic. Yep, a researcher. He was a neurophysiologist, and he really understood addiction. And chronic pain is actually a form of addiction, interestingly enough. And anyway, so I also wrote about ancestral clearing. There's kind of an explanation of what it is in the book because it was a big part of my healing.
Yeah.
That's in there too.
Oh my goodness. Well, we'll be sure to put a link to the book, wherever it is. We'll figure that out. My goodness, this has been such a beautiful conversation. Please let everyone know where to find you, how to work with you. Y'all witnessed it. Never met Elizabeth before, and I still have stuff coming out my nose. So please, where can people find you?
Beautiful. So I'm all over social media. You can find me there. You can hit me up on instant message as fine, or on LinkedIn. That's fine too. But you can also find me maybe more easily on my website, Elizabeth-Kipp.com. You got to put the dash in there because ElizabethKipp.com is run by the other Elizabeth Kipp, who's amazing. She's a web designer and a photographer and outstanding at what she does, but that's not me. So you got to put the dash in there, and you can book a session with me. I do 50-minute sessions. I have a standard rate that's posted, and I'll just say this because we've still got COVID happening. If you need to, I have a pay what you can scale as well. You'll just have to email me about that to get that link. I don't really advertise that link on the website, but it's available. So I just want people to get the work. It's important.
Yeah. Well, coming from that heart of service, we're all about it here. Thank you so much, y'all. You need to book a session with Elizabeth. I mean, what was it? 20 minutes? Not even. You did the one thing, and
I know, right?
This is powerful, y'all.
It sure is.
This is powerful. I can speak firsthand, and we can reconnect friends later after the fact, but I'm going to be sharing this and resharing this, Elizabeth, for sure. Thank you again so much for being here. I'll be sure to put all of your links and your book information in the show notes. Well, that was fun. Next week, we're going to be talking to Morgan Patricio. She is an integrative fertility coach, and she's going to be talking about why all the things you've tried to improve your fertility may not have worked. This definitely resonates with me. A lot of you know that I went through IVF to have my little girl. So fertility, infertility, wow, definitely ties into the Mary Magdalene women stuff that we are going through with our bodies. So these are all beautiful conversations that are just happening in divine timing and alignment. Thank you to Elizabeth. Thank you to everyone who has watched and will be watching the replay. I know I for sure will be sharing this because that was amazing. Thanks again, Elizabeth. And thank everyone out there who will be watching. We'll see you next time. Take care. Take care of each other and book a session with Elizabeth. See you later, everyone. Bye.